Hello and welcome. Today we've got David Mahoney and we are going to be discussing the worldwide demonstrations. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to our Telegram channels and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. And if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, I will leave the link below in the description for the full interview, unless, of course, myself, David, and I can choose our words wisely due to the insane censorship that's happening right now. David, thank you for joining me. How are you and what have you been up to?
Absolutely great, Nick. I'm sorry I have to do an outside broadcast. You know, sometimes I get caught. I'm very well. I'm currently in Malaga. I've been invited down here to do an opening of a demonstration, a guest speaker at a demonstration. Behind me, we've got the ancient ruins of the Roman amphitheater here in the center of Malaga City. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. It's very quiet at the moment. This is the time where the Spanish people take a little siesta before they come back out. So sorry, I'm not in the studio, Nick, but you can hear me okay, I think, yeah?
I can hear you fine. Absolutely.
Good. So thanks, folks, wherever you are joining us from around the world on your journey of truth and digging, going down various rabbit holes. Nick, your interview with Michelle Fielding, absolutely fantastic. It's the best interview I've seen this year. I'm trying to get Michelle on my show, but she seems to be triple booked now because you've done that interview. So kind of angry, yeah, but I'm happy that you got the truth out, buddy.
She's wonderful. Absolutely. So tell us, what do you think is really going on with these worldwide demonstrations, and try to use your words wisely?
I will. Don't worry. The thing that I see and feel happening worldwide, Nick, and folks, wherever you're watching, is that the more that they push us into restrictions to take away more freedoms and more of our lifestyle choices, the more people are going to push back. It's getting many more people now, Nick, worldwide, from the emails and the voice messages and the normal messages through the social media that I get. Is more and more people worldwide that are waking up to what's going on now. They're not having it anymore. They're tired of it. They're not going to put up with it. So they're saying enough is enough. Now, a lot of these people out there, they don't have the capabilities and the passion and the power to do the sort of things that I do. You know, I really push back and I get in the face of police and authorities. So the only form that they've got is to go out and exercise their democratic rights, to be on the street, to demonstrate against their lifestyle and freedom restrictions being restrained from what they are now. So it's very interesting to see this worldwide as people are getting out on the streets, waking up, exercising this democratic democracy in action. It's never happened. It's unprecedented in living memory. Nobody in all of the cities worldwide, you got Austria, New Zealand, Germany's coming online, tons of stuff going on in Australia as well. Those guys are really being pushed around. So I'm absolutely loving it. And the amount of emails I'm getting from people asking about, you know, what happens if I get arrested, what my legal rights are. But most of these people are all going on the Telegram groups, Nick, and that's a great source, folks. Get on your Telegram groups of everybody that you follow, and you can put your questions on there. The most interesting country I've seen so far is Austria. Now, the history of Austria, this is fascinating because the Austrian government now have got a new chancellor who just came in a few weeks ago. And this new chancellor is now talking about imposing fines for the unjabbed. And if you don't pay your fines, eventually they're going to take you and put you in an unjabbed camp, basically a prison for up to 1 year. So you imagine what's going to happen because at the moment they're playing with kittens. But when they really start playing with the warriors and the hardened veterans, these people are really going to start pushing back. And I think that all ties into what Michelle was talking about on your show in her interview about this is all part of a greater plan to make people wake up and realize what the governments and the politicians have all been doing in all of our living memories and for a couple of hundred years before that.
Absolutely. So what's the situation like now where you are in Malaga? What are the people's behaviors like?
In the south of Spain, we're very, very lucky. We are more or less unrestricted. Outside, nobody enforces the masks. Nobody's doing that anymore. Inside, if you get somebody that says they really want to act like a tough guy and they want to impose it, they'll make you wear a mask going into the bathroom. But to be honest, Nick, I haven't been asked in months to put a mask on. I don't go to the supermarket. I had that unorganized. I do that online shopping. So they don't really ask for the mask here. We are very free. However, we have had a tip-off that the health authority of this part of Spain is now going to ask and enforce a vaccine passport for January. So what I've come here today to do is to start getting people ready for that action if that happens. I'm more or less 85, 90% certain they're going to try to enforce that on the people here. So you can't get a cup of coffee or order a sandwich or go to a cafe or a bar without this vaccine passport. But the thing about that, Nick, is I don't believe the statistics of any of these countries that they're talking about. When they're doing this, they're saying, 73%, 80% of people are vaccinated or jabbed. I don't believe that. I think it's way less. And I think the governments are making one last play. They're doubling down on the bets like they're playing roulette. They've all been betting on red, betting on red, and it's been coming up black because there's millions and millions of us who are all waking up now. And there's going to be a huge pushback as we get through the holiday season and into 2022. You wait and see. Even the people that have had 2 or 3, they're going to start saying, come on, I've been a good sport, mate. I've had the first one. I've had the second one. Now you want me to have a third one when these 2 are not working? You're taking away my freedoms again?
How about the fourth one?
Exactly. Singapore now in the Middle East, they're talking about number 4. And now they're trying to get somebody like me to take number 1 when I'm looking over here and saying, well, this guy's going to have 4 and it doesn't work. Why are you going? I'm not going to do that. You know, it's a desperate ploy by desperate politicians because, Nick, there's that many people screaming at their doors saying, you know what, we're coming for you. And these people are not going to be nice. They're not going to ask to leave office politely. They're going to be dragging them by the heels and stringing them up from the rafters, in my opinion, because the more that people lose their jobs and lose their welfare and lose their income and the loved ones are affected and there's people that are going, they're going to be looking for somebody to blame. And it's not going to be the guy next door. It's going to be the people in power. I've also seen a lot of videos now of what's been going on in major European cities at night as far as riot control. And there's been a lot of organized big guys now, not just skinny little teenagers. These are big fellas with their masks on, taking the weapons off the riot police and pushing back and giving the riot police what they were trying to do to them. Now, there's millions and millions of people out there who are awake, and they're outnumbered by about 500,000 to 1. So if I was a policeman or a politician right now, I'd be trying to change my strategy and come on the side of the people because they can't get away with it for everybody, and times are changing. Things are changing. You see, before we were divided, it was the jabbed and the non-jabbed. But now it's people saying, hey, I'm being locked up as well. I'm being restrained as well. I've lost my business as well. So the division we had before is now changing into us coming back to being united. And that's where we need to be. We need to stop thinking about fear and start thinking about love, our loved ones. And in this holiday season, this Christmas, it's exactly the great atmosphere and the sentiment that we all need to get into to raise our vibration and get up there to join together as one. Shoulder to shoulder, buddy. Doesn't matter where we are, where we're from, or what language we speak. We need to be shoulder to shoulder. How's that?
Absolutely. So what did you think of, if you got a chance to listen to Boris Johnson's announcement yesterday? Did you manage to catch that?
I didn't actually hear it, Nick. What was the gist of it? What did he say? We going back into shutdown, lockdown?
Nothing like that. It was just about, pushing people to take the third one. That's right. Yeah. The third jab. Yeah.
He's going to try to do it, mate. Like I say, it's like sitting at the roulette table and doubling down on the bet the whole time. That's his only option, to keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. But you can only push things too far. When you're driving your car or whipping a horse at the race, it's only going to go so far before the thing will either explode or just pack up. So I don't think it's going to work, mate, especially because there's more and more people saying, hang on, come on now. It was 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Then it was a couple of months for this. Then it was number 1. Then it was number 2. Then it's number 3. People are not dropping dead in the streets behind me. There's other countries that are open. Sweden is open. Spain's open. And even when you're traveling, folks, here's another interesting fact. Traveling these days, they're making it more or less impossible with fear, saying you can't go here. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. I was at the airport in Malaga this week, and I picked up a very good friend of mine. And they told me that there was hardly any questions coming through. So all of the panic about not being able to fly, and you need test after test after test. The reality is when you get on the ground, they're all smoking cigarettes. They don't care. So don't be afraid to travel. This is mainstream media telling you what to do to keep you constantly terrified of something that they can't even isolate, Nick. That's the other thing. Mm-hmm. And now they're saying, people using altered documents for travel, you're going to be jailed. How can you jail somebody for using an altered document to stop something that can't be proved to exist in the first place? If exhibit number 1 is fake, exhibit number 3 must be fake because number 1 is not real. So don't be scared of that either, guys. I'm hearing a lot of people saying, oh, I'm not going to travel.
What's your advice to those people who they're at work and they've been given a deadline to take the thing the liquid, and they don't want to take it? So how should they deal with it?
This is a very, very tricky situation. It's a great question, Nick. I get this a lot. My answer to that question, is it really depends on where you are, which country you're in, and what industry you're in. For example, if you're in the medical industry, if you're in a healthcare industry, they're demanding it, forcing it. But it depends what country you're in. For example, Biden has now had all of his mandates thrown out by the high courts in the US. So if you're in the USA and you've got somebody breathing down your neck demanding that you take this jibber jab so you can continue your job, you've got to quote the law. You've got to go in there, use the law, use the high court overruled it that cannot be mandated or forced on you. If you're in the UK, it's a slightly different matter. So what you have to do there is you can use a religious exemption, and you can also join something called a vax control group, where you can become a registered member of a control group internationally registered and recognized that you cannot be vaccinated, you cannot be jabbed because you've been registered as a control group. So you're not the placebo, you're not the real one. You're part of a control group that's registered online. And actually, the people that have taken these cards, this card now, have been let into countries using it, Nick. So this works because it is legal. So if you're in the UK, I would join that. And therefore, they cannot dismiss you from any sort of employment contract. But if you're working in a small company where obviously you know your boss, what I would advise you to do is start warming him up to the idea that you think it's a good idea. You can say, you know what? I like the idea. I've been thinking, I've been doing my own research, and I think I'm going to do it. Obviously, you can't say that day. You've got to warm them up and get the mood for it for a couple of weeks. And then just tell them that you've done it.
Absolutely.
So, I had it. And even put a bandage on there, take a shirt off. You've got a T-shirt on. Or, women often have tops on that they can show their sleeves. Put a little thing on. Make a fake post on your Facebook page, saying, hey, thumbs up, I've taken it today. Do that, fake it, because we're not going to be in this situation much longer. As we get into March 22 next year, I think things are going to change. There are going to be more and more people pushing back and fighting back against the regimes that are trying to cut off the heads of freedom, mate. I think we're getting there. I see big changes coming in 22, and all of the psychics, all of the mediums worldwide are all saying the same thing, buddy. You've interviewed quite a few of them.
Absolutely. So, David, it's been an absolute honor to have you. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
I always say the same thing. Don't listen to propaganda. Throw your television out the window. Use your brain and use your sentiment. Your instincts are very tuned. You're watching this show, even if it's the first time. Some force, some power has led you here to see what we're saying worldwide. And we're all saying the same thing. Stay safe, stay strong, keep pushing back. Don't listen to the lies and enjoy your life. Fill yourself with love this holiday season. It's an amazing time of the year. I love Christmas, Nick.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, David. I really appreciate that.
Excuse the background, but I've got to run, buddy. But I'll speak to you very soon. Much love, huh?
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.